Hello, this is Mark from I Am Organic Gardening, and this is an update of our tomato plants growing in a raised wood chip bed. And we have plenty of nice, beautiful red tomatoes today that we're going to be harvesting. And also we're going to be opening up the bottom of the round raised bed to see how the root growth did. First, some background information. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up toward this top. First, we only use wood chips as an outside barrier, which is about 4 to 5 inches thick, to create air pruning and also to increase the amount of fungi growing into the soil. Number two is that we use leaf mold that was about a year old and our own regular hard compact clay soil. And those are the three ingredients. Then we brought in some mycorrhizal fungi from a sample of soil that was grown next to a pine tree, which is probably very heavily active with mycorrhizal fungi in it. And then we brought it in and then introduced that into both beds. Now you can see the results. We added nothing else. There's no other fertilizer or manure or anything else added, no amendments of any kind, no compost tea, no coffee grounds, no lime, no nothing. Just those three ingredients, and we have healthy plants. And you can see how well they're growing all together in a very compact area because they're working all together in the soil food web because of the mycorrhizal fungi and also the bacteria and the nematodes and arthropods and fungi, the whole thing in there, and it's doing just fine in a raised bed. We had planted up, prior to our tomato plants being planted, we had planted up our strawberries, if you remember, and our clover, which is over the whole top surface. That's New Zealand white clover. And also our sunflowers, which you can see the stalks there, and they're doing very nicely. That was going to increase the root zone area and fill up all that area with roots, so when the tomato plants came in, they were comfortable right next to those roots and can gain nutrients and also mycorrhizal fungi being adapted to their roots so they can sustain life and grow nice and healthy, which they're doing right now. And here's a view of the back of the round raised bed that we have. That's 2 feet tall. And here's our front of our square raised bed that we have. It's a different shape. But you can see that everything's doing very nicely. I do not tie up the tomatoes. I just kind of let them grow on their own up the trellis that I made. And our other view from the back. You can see how everything's doing very nicely. Nice and lush and green. I even have a pepper plant here, and it's doing very nicely. I might throw that in my omelet tomorrow. The tomato variety I used was called New Girl. It's an indeterminate, and it makes tomatoes weighing anywhere from 4 to 6 ounces. It's an early variety. It usually takes about 62 days to produce tomatoes. And as you can see here, we planted these only 49 days ago, and we planted them on June 11th. And today is August 29th, and that's been only 49 days. But the days that they list is from seed to now. We did use transplants and plant them right into the raised bed, and so we took a transplant and planted them in there, so you have to add that time in also too. But they've been planted just in the raised bed here that you see in front of you for 49 days now. So here you can see we have a sunflower head. I'm bending down towards you, and they've been picking at them. The birds have been eating those nice sunflower seeds already. And also too, the birds will keep away or try to keep away the tomato hornworms. They're a little pesky, but they'll try to pick at them sometimes. And if anything, they'll drop them to the ground, so it takes a long time for them to kind of get back up there and do damage to the plant. The reason I chose the strawberries, the New Zealand white clover, and also the sunflowers is the root zones. And also too, they're all highly mycorrhizal fungi compatible. And what I mean by the root zones, each one of them has their own strength. The clover will stay towards the top and spread out a lot of little roots. The sunflowers will make large roots to go down very deep into the soil. And also the strawberries will continue and harbor that mycorrhizal fungi for next year, and also that has a medium root that will go halfway down. And that's what I want to show you by opening up this raised bed, the round raised bed. So I have my wire cutter and my tie wraps. I'm going to take the tie wraps and tie wrap the sunflower stalks in place of the trellis and also tomato plants so we can see exactly how the roots did in that one particular area. And also too, the strawberry plants, I can't do them, but what we'll do is we'll set them aside and show you a view of the strawberry plants. So we did a quick harvest on our round raised bed, and it's in front of me on the ground here. You can see they came out pretty good, not bad for 2 plants. And we still have more to go, but I think I'm going to leave them on. I was going to pick them, but I think I'm going to let them ripen some more, and they're still on the square raised bed. We're going to let that stay in place for another couple days for the simple reason Labor Day is coming up and I want some nice fresh ripe tomatoes then. So you can see here I have everything tied up to the trellis, and we're going to open this up and start looking at the root zones. And also too, I removed a lot of the tomato branches that were hanging on the ground. As you can see here, we don't have a lot of clover growing because it was blocking the sun, but also clover does not do well in the summertime. It's not a very good thing to last over dry, hot summers like we had. The root is probably still alive and will come back later on, but it is not nice and lush and green right now. So I'm going to cut these wires off so you can see, and then we'll open it up and take a look. Here we have a good view. You can see how the wood chips are still holding together. That looks promising because hopefully the roots are holding some of those chips together on the inner part of the circle. So let's peel back the outer layer of wood chips first and see. Ooh, nice roots already. Look at this. Nice. I don't know if you can see this. Here, let's see if I can bring it in closer here. If you can see those little white roots growing right there in the wood chips. That's very nice to see. Okay, now I'm going to zoom back out again so we can get a little bit larger view. I have a friendly bird nearby that wants to go for the sunflower seeds, and it's right, it's going to attack me about 2 seconds to go for the sunflower seeds again. Now you can see here that the wood chips are dry, which I wanted them to do. I didn't want those roots to come out too much. And you can see the roots are just inside that area of where the wood chips meet the soil, or the leaf mold and the clay that's mixed 50-50 together. So let's go back to the top and see about our strawberry plants. This is good. Now here's our strawberry plant. Here's one right here. Let's see if I can. That's our strawberry plant and its roots. And this is our strawberry plant right here, and you can see that it did very nicely. That's the whole root system of our strawberry plant, inside the leaves and also inside the wood chips and the soil. And everything's looking very well, very nice. So this is our root of our strawberry plant, our original strawberry plant that we planted here, and that's all the root mass. And now we have one runner, and we have another one. Not bad. So for the rest of this, I'm going to use some water out of a nozzle, and I'm going to wash away the dirt so we don't pull any of the roots away, and see how big they are. I do not know if these are tomato roots yet or sunflower roots. They are quite large, so I'm probably going to say they're more likely sunflower roots, but we're going to get closer to that tomato plant soon. I'd like to also point out now that we have our sunflower stalks here, 3 of them, that require a lot of water. And we have our one tomato plant there, and we have our other tomato plant here, less than a foot apart. they're all doing well because they all share one common goal: to make the soil healthy. Plants put 51% of their energy back into the ground. They only take 49% of themselves to grow above the ground. Now, this means they're putting more back than they're taking out, so you're never going to run out of nutrients or other things in your soil. You can see here that it's very close together and all the plants are doing perfectly fine. And also here you can see that clay soil that I added from my farm. It's nothing special. It was just originally clay soil that had weeds growing in it. And now it can produce tomato plants and sunflowers because it's all working in the soil food web. It's making those pores open through mycorrhizal fungi, the glomalin, and the whole system is working because the soil food web is alive in here. So let's continue, see if we can get to our tomato plant. Okay, let me move the camera for a better shot. Now you can see here how well those tomato roots are doing in this just common soil, clay. We have hard clay here, but when I mix it with organic matter and leave it above the soil level so it has drainage to begin with and has air to start with, then that mycorrhiza can take off and enjoy the luxury of having non-wet soil. Now, you can see how this whole bed is just doing fine on its own. Now, we didn't spend anything. The wood chips are free, the leaves are free, and the dirt on my own farm obviously is free, except for when I pay the taxes on it. But anyway, you can see that it's just doing very well. You don't have to go out and buy any special mixture or anything else either. You have to just understand the soil food web and how it works, and you can really grow things for free. Now, of course, I spent money on the tomato plant, from growing it in the house and into the barn and in the rootings and everything else too. But besides the cost of seed or getting things started or my transplant, everything else is free from then on. Okay, now I'm going to start. I'm going to see if I can take this and pretty much cut it in half. I'm going to spend some time, but I will show you results and move all the dirt out of the way and see how all those roots are. And this white mold that you see, I did another video on it. It's probably not mycorrhizal fungi. It's that saprophytic fungi, and that just decomposes the wood chips, but that's all part of the soil food web. So if you see this, don't be fooled by it. It's not mycorrhizal. The only way to really tell is underneath the microscope. Now, it's been about 10 minutes, and you can see here that I've progressed very slowly because it's very hard to dig in here and wash that away. For a simple reason, it's been building soil. All that soil has been opened by that fungus or mycorrhizal fungi and is starting to make soil aggregates. It's not easy to wash the soil away because everything's being held together, which is a good thing, and that's what is in nature, and that's why that if you do not till your soil or disturb it, it will stay in place even in heavy rains. I just learned something too here, and this is where I'm going to watch planting my tomato plants, because that's what I do mostly in my very large garden of 10 acres. We sell a lot of tomatoes, especially wholesale. And if you can see the root system, now I'll show you both. Now this root system of the tomato plant, look how much it's confined to that one area. And that simply reason is that I made a mistake. I left it in the pot way too long. It is root bound. But thank goodness that those roots did expand and did exactly what I thought they were going to do. But it might have been a small disaster if I didn't plant them right there. I actually kept them in a pot about a month longer. Now you can see how that's a problem, and everything's just right there. You can actually see this, almost a pot of the size of the pot. It was a 4-inch pot that I had them in. And this one here, you can see is the same problem. So be careful leaving your tomato plants in your pots too long, and that's something I learned, and now I see it right here in front of me. That's why I'm always experimenting. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, because I can't redo it, maybe on the other bed, but things worked out very well. If you have any questions at all, please write them. Just give me some time, because Labor Day weekend's coming up, and I'll be happy to answer the best I can. It's all a learning process for you and for me. Now we just have some interesting things that we can see with our own eyes, ask more questions and learn from each other. And I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Enjoy your day. It's almost lunchtime for me. I'm going to have some homemade delicious salsa in a little bit. Thanks.